Hey everybody, it's Allie Edwards and welcome to story number 10 in my December daily album for 2025. Today I am working with a big full page photo of the wrapping paper that I picked out from my stash. I shopped my my stash of wrapping paper this year and I feel super happy about it. I picked out some Santa papers and some red and white papers and felt pretty good about not buying anything different this year. So what I am doing right now, I am adding red line tape to the back of my fabric page from yesterday, and I will be adhering my full page photo down on top. It's essentially close to that 8.25 by 11, but the page was a little bit shorter than that, which was fine. So I'm going ahead and adhering that straight down on there, and then I am going to be using this cute little vellum library pocket from the main kit to hold my story for today. I initially started by adding on a chipboard piece from the chipboard 6x8 chipboard that we offered this year, and you can see that I am working on layering that Holly Jolly tag and a transparency of the Santa holding a sign that was from our transparency and journal card set, or our specialty card set. But what I found was that the Holly Jolly fit right behind the Santa, and I loved the idea that maybe I would staple the Holly Jolly on to the Santa and then I would cut out around the Santa, which is what I'm doing right now. So I'm leaving probably a 1/4 inch around the outside edge. I'm just doing a basic cut, but I loved the idea that the Santa himself and the transparency of the Santa would sit on above the top of the pocket, the top of the bottom part of the pocket, and you'll see that here in a second. I just thought it was a fun way to kind of play around with cutting something out, using the shape of it, and especially since I was incorporating Santas, or I picked pattern papers that had Santas in them or on them, this felt like a fun little solution. So you may want to put this on something else, but it's a fun way to cut it out. I'm using red line tape to adhere it down onto the back of the card, and I am going to trim just off on the bottom. I'm going to leave his hands that are reaching outside of the pocket. Next up, I decided to go ahead and emboss the number 10 onto the pocket card. My story is not long for today. It's just going to be a short story about shopping my stash, so I figured that I could use some of the real estate on the card for the number 10. This is an older stamp set that we had. I'll see if we still have any available. We've got lots of different larger stamp sets available generally. And going ahead using, again, that gold embossing powder, using my heat gun, using the Versamark, using my static pouch that I have the little reminder there. And then I'm going to be handwriting my journaling today directly onto this card. But before I do that, I was trying to decide if I was going to trim off along the bottom of the page there. And I end up, you'll see, actually, that's coming up in a minute. I wanted a tab. I grabbed a December tab. I'm going to end up pulling off the this joyful story, the chipboard piece, because it didn't end up going with exactly how I wanted this to look. And then I'll be trimming off the pocket a little bit, so you'll see that in a minute here. But what I got distracted by, oh wait, no, here we go. Okay, I'm using pinking shears to just trim off, because that's where I ripped that chipboard piece off the top, and sometimes you just got to work with what you have. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to use red line tape to adhere this back down, or adhere this down onto my full page photo. What I keep trying to talk about is along the bottom edge, normally of the big photo, normally I would just trim that off with an X-Acto knife, but because of the design on the other side of that page with the fabric and the printed fabric, I'm going to go ahead and just instead use some washi tape. I have this scalloped washi tape that I've been using for a number of years now. It's originally from Doodlebug, and I got a package of it that had a bunch of different colors, and I've used it in a wide variety of different places over the last few years. It was totally worth it. It was totally worth it. So here I'm adding some red along the bottom just to cover up that portion of it, and then I also added a little bit of it onto the bottom of the journaling card that's going to go inside that vellum pocket. I'm using one of the Kelly Creates pens. This is a .03 pen, and I'm writing today primarily in uppercase. I often mix and match, but today felt like an uppercase day, so that's what I'm doing, just adding on my little story here about shopping my own stash, and then I am pretty much going to stick this card into the pocket and call it good. So a nice, pretty quick and easy page, and also different ways that you could make it even easier. You can skip the embossing, maybe put number stickers on there instead. But if you have that transparency, it was definitely fun to cut out the Santa and add him onto that Holly Jolly tag. All right, guys, let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, and we'll see you back here again tomorrow.